For centuries, Japanese beauty had evolved from within. Every generation inherited traditions from the one before. Some changed slowly, others almost imperceptibly, but they all belonged to Japan. Then, in the late 19th century, history accelerated. After more than 2 centuries of isolation, Japan reopened its doors to the world. Steamships arrived. Railways spread across the country. Foreign advisors filled government offices. Western science, technology, architecture, and fashion poured into a nation determined to reinvent itself. Modernization wasn't simply encouraged, it became national policy. And for the first time, the government itself began reshaping how beauty should look. Ancient customs that had survived for centuries disappeared with remarkable speed. Blackened teeth, once the mark of refinement, were abandoned. The painted eyebrows of the Heian court faded into history. Hair salons appeared in growing cities. Soap, perfume, modern cosmetics. Beauty products once unimaginable became part of daily life. Yet Japan didn't erase its past. It layered something new on top of it. For decades, many women lived between 2 worlds, a kimono at home, a Western dress at school, traditional hairstyles for ceremonies, modern hairstyles for the office. The old Japan and the new Japan existed side by side, sometimes in the very same person. Then came a generation unlike any before. They weren't daughters of court nobles, nor wives of samurai. They were office workers, students, artists, writers, young women growing up in rapidly expanding cities. Newspapers called them the modern girls. They cut their hair shorter, wore lighter clothing, applied brighter lipstick, walked through cafes, department stores, dance halls, and busy city streets with a confidence that shocked older generations. For the first time, beauty wasn't inherited. It could be chosen. And mass media made that choice spread faster than ever before. Women's magazines filled their pages with beauty advice. Advertisements promoted new cosmetics. Fashion illustrations travelled across the country. Ideas that once took generations to spread could now travel in weeks. Yet history offers one remarkable reminder. In 1925, a survey in Tokyo's fashionable Ginza district found that only about 1% of women were actually wearing Western clothing. 1%. And yet, those few women appeared everywhere. In magazines, on posters, in advertisements. Sometimes, history isn't changed by the majority. It's changed by the people everyone is looking at. Then, everything changed again. War swept across Asia. Luxury disappeared. Fashion became secondary. Beauty became practical. Lipstick gave way to restraint. Elegant hairstyles became simpler. Looking glamorous was no longer expected. Looking disciplined was. For millions of women, appearance became less about expression and more about endurance. Beauty didn't disappear. It simply waited. When the war finally ended, Japan began rebuilding almost from nothing, and beauty returned with it. This time, it arrived wearing bright red lipstick. American films, Hollywood actresses, television, and glossy advertisements introduced entirely new ideals of femininity. Department stores filled with cosmetics. International brands entered Japanese homes. Colour became part of everyday life again. For many women, buying lipstick wasn't simply buying makeup. It was buying hope. A small reminder that life could become joyful again. Japan's beauty industry expanded rapidly. Skincare, foundation, mascara, colour cosmetics. What had once belonged only to aristocrats was now available to ordinary women across the country. Beauty had become democratic. Then something unexpected happened. Japan stopped following global fashion. It began influencing it. Designers like Issey Miyake, Rei Kawakubo, and Yohji Yamamoto challenged the world's idea of beauty. Instead of excess, they celebrated simplicity. Instead of perfection, they embraced asymmetry. Instead of decoration, they explored shape, space, and movement. Meanwhile, Tokyo's streets became a laboratory of fashion. Business suits walked beside traditional kimono, luxury brands mixed with vintage clothing. Minimalism existed alongside bold street culture. There was no longer a single image of the Japanese woman. Individuality itself had become beautiful. Today, Japan continues balancing two worlds. Most women no longer wear kimono every day. Yet the kimono never disappeared. It returns for weddings, coming-of-age ceremonies, festivals, graduations, moments when history still matters. At the same time, Japanese skincare has become one of the most respected in the world. Social media spreads trends overnight. Global influences flow in from every direction. And Japanese beauty continues inspiring millions of people far beyond its own shores. Perhaps that is what makes this journey so extraordinary. Over 14,000 years, Japanese women transformed shell ornaments into silk robes, turned clothing into poetry, replaced courtly elegance with samurai restraint, welcomed Western fashion, and eventually reshaped global beauty on their own terms. Yet through every transformation, one thing remained surprisingly constant. Beauty was never simply about appearance. It reflected the society women lived in, its beliefs, its politics, its prosperity, its hardships, its dreams. The kimono may no longer be part of everyday life. Blackened teeth exist only in history books. The white-painted faces of the Heian court have long since faded away. But every generation of Japanese women has left something behind, not only in paintings or photographs or museum collections, but in the evolving idea of what beauty can mean. And perhaps that is why the story of Japanese women is also the story of Japan itself.